Okay.
This is
We're ready.
County Court at Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Zoom remote hearing on motions to revoke probation. October 19th, at approximately 2:25 p.m. I'm Judge Wayne Christian. The cases we are going to pick up today will be cause number 625106, State of Texas versus Benny Campos, with Mr. Andrew Del Cueto as defense counsel. Cause 626910, Andrew Leo Cardenas, with Mr. Joe Stenberg as defense counsel. Cause 573898, Jordan Dominique Seminat, with Mr. Patrick Lamas as defense counsel. And 528304, State of Texas versus Iris Villarreal, with Ms. Alma Benavides as defense counsel. My understanding is that cause 502964, State of Texas versus Refugio Valdez, was set today, but we have not heard from Mr. Valdez. Is that correct, Pat?
Yes, Your Honor, we will have to do bond forfeitures. He also has two other cases. Those are 637764 and 637765. Those are new cases, but they were also set today as well. So bond forfeitures will need to be issued.
All reference cases are either motions to revoke community supervision or motions to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. All are uncontested MTRs. At this time, Mr. Del Cueto, are you ready on Mr. Campos' case? Mr. Del Cueto, I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll take up first State of Texas versus Benny Campos, cause number 625106. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. It is uncontested. Once again, representing the defendant is Mr. Andrew Del Cueto. Representing the state on all these cases will be Mr. Nick Maru. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Ms. Gross, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony we're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
Mr. Del Cueto, on Mr. Campos' case 625106, this is a first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, which I believe was filed Friday. Does that sound right, Susan?
Yes, Your Honor.
My understanding is the defense is entitled to 10 days preparation time if they request it. Are you requesting 10 days preparation time on this case, or are you willing to
Judge,
wait?
I need something on it because I have not. I thought we were just going on the priors. I haven't even received notice of the violation except for oral notice. Somebody called me and gave me oral notice.
You have a copy of the First Amendment motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision?
I do not, Judge.
Well, I think we're going to have to stop short on this one and get you that. Susan, can you send it over?
Judge, can I make a recommendation if it please the court? Can we, if it's first amended, can we just go on the old ones?
We can, sure. It's up to the DA. It's okay with me.
There's no objection, Judge.
All right, we'll just go on the first one. We won't go on the First Amendment.
Thank you, Judge.
Not a problem. All right. Well, then on the original motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision on Mr. Campos, how does the defendant plead?
Mr. Campos.
Yes, sir.
You need to plead true.
Okay, plead truth.
All right. Court accepts your plea of true. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the parties and the defendant of the status of his probation with the Bexar County CSCD?
Your Honor, his reporting has been very, very poor since placed on probation. We did last see him on October 15th of 2020. He missed his first 2 months of probation after he was granted. He's made no effort to make any payments. He has a balance of $1,347, is delinquent $1,172. We have not received proof of completion of any of his 48 hours community service. We have no proof of enrollment or completion of the stress class. He has 1 positive for cocaine, which was back in 2017, 9 negatives and 2 diluted drug tests. His officer is recommending a TAP evaluation and follow the recommendations, or revocation if the court so sees.
Let me ask Mr. Del Cueto at this time. It appears that Mr. Campos is accused of committing 3 other offenses while he was on probation with us. And I guess one is possession of controlled substance, which what is cocaine probably?
Yeah, Judge, I believe that one was dismissed.
Okay, and the DWI third, have you worked out an agreement on that case?
Not yet, Judge, but that one is pending.
And the UCW is that in this court or where is that?
Yes, Judge, but I'm sure whatever happens with the felony, that case will be taken into consideration.
All right.
Those were the initial talks anyway.
Defense, what are you recommending on Mr. Campos? He's obviously has an aggravated and not real successful probation period, best I can tell.
Are you asking me or the DA, Your Honor?
Did you say?
I'm asking Mr. Del Cueto first, and I'll let the DA
Okay.
after that.
Judge, we would, I mean, I think you're right in part, Judge. I mean, we did do scram since February, which is quite a bit of time and it's quite a bit of money. He's got a shop and he employs people and he understands that he's going to have to do some time. We would just like to make it as painless as possible because he really just wants to get out and continue to work.
Ms. Gross, was there any restitution ordered on this case on an ABI case?
Let me double check that for you, Your Honor.
I think it's alleged, so maybe it's moot anyway.
Well, we can't put monies on motions anymore.
Well, then I guess I'm inquiring if there's a likelihood that Mr. Campos might get sued at some future point, and maybe we can.
Yes, Your Honor. He has a total of $80 in restitution.
Judge, we'll pay the $80 in restitution.
Yeah. Mr. Maru, what is the state recommendation on Mr. Campos?
Judge, the state recommends revocation and sentence to Bexar County Jail for 60 days.
Does Mr. Campos have prior offenses, Susan?
Yes, Your Honor. He has a prior evading arrest with detention, which was a felony, an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram, DWI, failure to stop and give info, 500 to 1500, DWI second. This case, a new DWI third, which he's awaiting trial, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram, and the unlawful carrying, which is pending in this court.
And Judge, just for clarification, which ones has he pled on?
Yeah, I'm not sure all of those resulted in convictions. I'm trying to look at that.
He was on probation on the possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. He was terminated unsatisfactory.
Okay. He received deferred on the evading, which he terminated satisfactorily. That was back in 2013.
Mr. Del Cueto, here's my plan. Let me bounce it off of you before we actually formally do it. This is a very aggravated case. Mr. Campos has a colorful past. I'm inclined to revoke him and give him a year in jail with the understanding if you work out something on any of the other cases that involve jail time or SATF time or inpatient rehab time anywhere, we give him credit for that. If he's in jail on my sentence and you work out something on the felony and they agree to let him go to SATF on a probation thing, I can early terminate him in jail and let him go to SATF, which I thought would benefit the defendant because we all want him to go to rehab if we can get him there.
Absolutely.
Susan, can we continue Mr. Campos if we wanted to? I don't think so.
He doesn't expire till January 6th of 2021. And he is on deferred, so you could do a reform judgment.
And Judge, I think the biggest problem is that 30 days is the longest sanction that you can give Mr. Campos on a misdemeanor Class A or Class B by law. And if it's 31 days, and it's an illegal sentence. So if he's waiting, for instance, for SATF, and he sits in jail for 31 days, it has just become an illegal sentence. And that's as per the Code of Criminal Procedure.
Well, my theory would be also in conformity with the Code of Criminal Procedure, if I revoke him and adjudicate him guilty of the offense of assault bodily injury and sentence him to a year in jail, that's a lawful sentence. But
That is a lawful sentence, Judge.
I think within 6 months, I have the authority to give him early termination of his sentence, especially in light of the fact that maybe he's going to volunteer for SATF on one of these other cases. Does that make sense?
Sure, Judge.
That's kind of where I'm going. Mr. Maru?
No, I am too, Judge. I just didn't want to set up for something later. I'm not trying to direct the court at all.
I understand. Mr. Maru, do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Campos, the court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke probation with an explanation. I grant the state's motion to adjudicate you guilty of the offense of assault bodily injury. I sentence you to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. Assess a $4,000 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. It is the court's intent that if your attorney is able to craft plea bargains on any or all of these other 3 cases, in state, we have the ability right now to TIC the UCW on this and get rid of that if that's something that Mr. Del Cueto would be interested in and you would agree.
As long as that UCW, does that stem out of the DWI third?
I think it does.
Then no, Judge. That's probably
I don't want to mislead anybody, Judge.
no. Yeah, no.
I'm going to have Mr. Campos report to the Bexar County Jail at 9:00 a.m. on Monday, which would be October 26th, to give him time to get his affairs in order. My understanding is that I have the ability to early terminate his jail sentence at any time should Mr. Del Cueto be successful in getting some sort of inpatient rehabilitation coordinated on these other cases. And it would be the state's and the court's intent that the time he spent in inpatient rehabilitation would also equate to 1 day in jail for 1 day in rehab. Is that correct, Mr. Maru?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And Mr. Del Cueto, do you have
Yes,
any in this case?
One more time, Judge. I'm sorry.
Sure. It is the court's intention, with the permission of the state and advising the defense, that we would like to put Mr. Campos in inpatient rehab, but it's very difficult to do that under the circumstances of this case with the other cases still pending. So I'm going to sentence him to a year in jail, which is the maximum sentence, which he justly deserves, in my opinion. But in the event that you are able to craft a plea bargain or some sort of probation on any of the other 3 cases that includes several months at substance abuse treatment facility, I would consider your motion for shock probation, so to speak, or whatever. I mean, it wouldn't really put him back on probation, but it would allow him to go ahead and serve out the other sentence CC in SATF and not in jail, is where I'm getting at. Does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
I think that's lawful, and I think we can do that, and that would benefit Mr. Campos, but the ball's in your court to try to get that crafted, and I know that's not easy to do.
Real quick, Judge. Andrew, have you spoke with the felony attorney on that one?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yeah, because there's an offer up here that includes SATF as a condition as well.
I'll reach out again to Miss Escalona.
Okay.
All right. Anything further from either side? State?
No, Judge.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Campos. Thank you, Mr. Del Cueto.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, the next one I've got is State of Texas versus Andrew Leo Cardenas, cause 626910. And let's see. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. It is uncontested. On the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how does the defendant plead? And you know what, is Andrew still here, or did we lose Andrew?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I neglected to go over the
No, the other Andrew, the attorney Andrew.
For the record, I apologize, guys, I got carried away here. On Mr. Campos' case, I had 2 documents that I meant to have the attorney and the defendant identify, one of which was defendant's consent to an MTR hearing by video conference. And the only fault I see on this, it does not have under date. It's got some number 24003750, which is a computer glitch, if I were guessing. But I would have had the defendant and the attorney identify their signatures on this document, as well as the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, which is that it is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. Also, both allegedly signed by defense counsel and defendant, I will contact or have Pat contact Mr. Del Cueto and see if they want to come back online at some point in time, and we'll clear that up, but that takes care of that one. With regard to Mr. Cardenas, Mr. Stenberg, I'm holding in front of you all a document entitled Defendant's Consent to MTR Hearing by Video Conference, which is purportedly signed by both Mr. Cardenas and you. Mr. Cardenas, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Stenberg, would that be your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And next document I have is trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. And Pat, on my copy, it does not have a mark in the appropriate location which says, quote, "It is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal." I do have signatures purportedly from the defendant and Mr. Stenberg as his attorney. Mr. Cardenas, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Stenberg, would this be your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Stenberg, would you agree with me that the correct paragraph to annotate is, quote, "It is an adjudication of guilt followed by a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal"? Is that correct?
Well, I don't know if it's adjudication of guilt yet.
Well, he's on deferred.
Right, but we're,
Or A, he gets revoked, or B, it's an adjudication of guilt. So technically, that's the only real, actual, relevant paragraph that would apply to his case, in my opinion. So do you agree
I'm
that?
hoping he could be continued and just the condition be changed to submit to weekly UAs.
Well, this is just the boilerplate document that we sign in advance of these hearings. Anything's possible during the hearing and after the hearing. This is just a document that tells you worst case scenario what could happen to him. He could be revoked and found guilty and sentenced for the crime. That's basically what that says.
Yes, sir.
So do you agree that that is the correct marking on this document?
With that explanation, yes, sir.
I apologize. I can't hear you.
With that explanation, yes, sir.
Okay, there you go. State, do you agree that that's the correct paragraph to annotate on this?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And testifying in this case is also Ms. Susan Gross from CSCD, who is our probation supervisor. And I remind her she is still under oath. Once again, representing the state is Mr. Nick Maru, and representing the defense is Mr. Joe Stenberg. Mr. Cardenas, on the motion to adjudicate guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
He pleads true, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Gross, would you please advise the parties and the defendant of his status as a probationer?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Cardenas, you need to adjust your camera. All we can see is your eyes. His reporting has been good. We last saw him on September 10th of 2020. He's paid $184 towards his fees, has a balance of $825, and is delinquent $704. Case expires January 21st of 2021. He has not completed any of his 48 hours community service. He has completed stress class, drug offender education program. He was assigned to do weekly drug testing back in March. He only completed 2 of those. He has 5 failure to submit to drug testing, and 1 positive for marijuana and 1 negative drug test. His criminal history includes 2 possession of marijuanas, as well as this case. His officer is recommending be drug testing.
Hey, Mr. Stenberg, what are you requesting with regard to Mr. Cardenas?
That we continue him on deferred adjudication and that he submit to weekly drug testing and that he complete his community service within a time determined by you.
Mr. Cardenas, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can I just say something? I'm on the call line where you call every week, and I called Friday. No, I believe it was Thursday. I called, and I was there at the drug place because it's a new location, and I was waiting there for 2 hours. And I guess when they sent me a text that I'm at the front of the line, I went, and the nurses came out and they said that they had a plumbing problem, and that nobody could take no drug tests as of right now, and that they wrote my name down and my probation officer, and they said that they were going to contact her and that they were going to let her know that I came in, but they were having problems with the plumbing. And then with the hours, I just got my paper from my probation officer, and I just printed it. And as this Wednesday, I'm gonna go to the food bank so I could complete a couple of my hours. And I just wanted to ask, how much did I owe on the probation again?
You have a balance of 825 and you're delinquent 704.
And what is the delinquent?
That means that's how much you're behind because you haven't been making your payments as you're supposed to.
Can I pay that in a full amount?
Yes, sir, you may.
Okay, ma'am.
Ms. Gross, what was the original fine on this case?
Let me double check that for you, Your Honor.
I believe it was like 1,090.
The original fine, I believe, was $200.
Oh.
Hey, did I ask for your recommendation yet?
Not yet, Judge.
Over to you.
I was in lines of alternate amending and having him do the weekly UAs and complete and register and complete his programs within 10 days of this hearing.
And yes, his fine is $200.
My concern with that is that's what we ordered him to do the last time and he didn't do it. And I assume he was hiding his marijuana use. That sound about right, Mr. Cardenas? You're not a heroin guy or anything. This is just marijuana we're dealing with?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Cardenas, court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke probation with an explanation. I grant the state's motion to enter your adjudication of guilt to the offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon. Instead of sentencing you to a year in the Bexar County Jail and a $4,000 fine, I'm going to sentence you to 90 days in the Bexar County Jail and a $1,000 fine because you did show up. You were positive for marijuana when you showed up, but you did show up. But you've had plenty of chances. Your attorney's done as good a job as he can do, but he can't change the facts. So I want you to report to the Bexar County Jail on Monday, 10/26 at 9 a.m. to start your jail sentence. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Cardenas?
Can he
No,
get
Judge.
credit for time served, Your Honor?
He certainly does get credit for time served. I think he has 2 days or something. 2 days credit's what I have on my record. And he certainly gets credit for that.
Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Cardenas.
Your Honor, Mr. Del Cueto and Mr. Campos are back on.
Mr. Del Cueto, I apologize. I missed some of my boilerplate stuff before we actually got into your hearing. And back on the record on 625-106, State of Texas versus Benny Campos. I neglected to ask both Mr. Campos and Mr. Del Cueto if this was their signatures on this document entitled Defendant's Consent to a Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Is that your signature on this document, Mr. Campos?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Del Cueto, would that be your signature on this document? Andrew, can you hear me?
Sorry, Judge. Yes, Judge.
And the next document I neglected to bring to your attention is a document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked in the appropriate location that says this hearing is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. This also purports to have signatures of both Mr. Campos and Mr. Del Cueto. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Campos?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on this document, Mr. Del Cueto?
Yes, Your Honor.
And once again, Pat, we need to correct the date on the defendant's consent to MTR hearing by video conference.
Yes, sir. I'm here at the office. I will double check.
And I'll take care of that. All right, that's all I got boilerplate on Mr. Campos. Good luck, Mr. Campos.
Thank you, Judge.
You bet.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Pat. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
And we ready to go forward on Mr. Seminot. Mr. Lamas?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
This is cause 573-898, State of Texas versus Jordan Dominique Seminot. Representing the state, once again, is Mr. Nick Maru. Representing the defense in this particular case is Mr. Patrick Lamas. Representing the Bexar County CSCD, once again, is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath. On this case, Mr. Seminot, I'm holding in front of you a document entitled Defendant's Consent to MTR Hearing by Video Conference that purports to have your signature on it as well as that of your attorney. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Lamas, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pat, on my copy of the document where it has the blank for defendant's printed name, there is no name there, so we need to print the defendant's name in there somehow.
Yes, sir.
On the next document I have, it's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. And once again, this one is not marked, and it should be marked in the paragraph that says, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has the right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. And this is allegedly signed by both Mr. Lamas and Mr. Seminat. Mr. Seminat, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lamas, would this be your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lamas, would you agree with me that that is the correct paragraph to have marked with regard to this particular hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
And state, do you agree that that is the correct paragraph that needs to be marked for this particular hearing?
Yes, Judge.
This is a first amended motion to revoke community supervision. On the first amended motion to revoke community supervision, how does the defendant plead?
He pleads true to all except for violation number 14.
Okay. And it talks about failing to complete 80 hours of community service. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Gross, would you please advise us what the status of Mr. Seminat's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. His reporting has been good. We last saw him in February of 2020. He's paid $822 towards his fees. He has a balance of $320. Case did expire May 22nd of 2020. He completed 85 hours of community service, which is 5 more than what he was supposed to do. He has 1 positive drug test for alcohol, 2 negative drug tests, completed stress class, drug offender education program, but we have no proof of enrollment or completion of an outside drug and alcohol program. He does live outside San Antonio, so it was up to him to locate an outpatient drug program, and we have no proof of enrollment or completion of that. And his officer is recommending that his probation be revoked.
And correct me if I'm wrong, during the time of his probation, Mr. Seminat reported properly, but once the MTR was filed, we no longer heard from him. Was that kind of what happened in that circumstance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Seminat apparently lives in Clayburgh County. Does that sound right?
I believe that is the correct county, Your Honor. And he does have 1 prior, which was a possession of marijuana 0 to 2. And I believe it was TIC'd with this case.
Okay. Defense, what are you requesting, please?
Your Honor, we're requesting that you continue him on probation and allow him time to do the outpatient treatment. When I'm speaking to my client and looking over his progress through probation, everything he knew about, he tried his best to do it. Even the fees, he paid the $822 up front, believing that was all the fees he had to pay. We understand that he has $320 left because of the supervisory fees, which he's more than willing to pay. In terms of the outpatient treatment, it was just a simple communication error with him and his probation officer in Clayburgh County. I've been trying to reach Clayburgh County to talk about it, but I haven't had any success yet. But now that he's fully aware of the outpatient treatment, he's more than happy to comply with the court order, as shown by his due diligence in getting the stress education and the drug offender education taken care of, and going above the required 80 hours community service. And in terms of his other violation in not reporting this year between March and April, he was under the understanding with his Clayburgh County probation officer that he was finished with probation. That's the message that they gave him, so he thought he was already done with it. But knowing that he has the outpatient treatment to do and the $320 to pay, he's more than happy to continue his probation and do what he has to do to get it done successfully, Your Honor.
What is the largest town in Clayburgh County? Is that where Kingsville or something is?
I believe it's Kingsville. He goes to school there and plays football.
Let's talk about school. What school are you going to, Mr. Seminat?
Texas A&M University King.
And what year are you there? 1, 2, 3, 4?
got 4, and I have 1 more semester left to graduate.
You have a grade point average?
But GPA right now, I think it's like 3.1 maybe. I got to get it. You know.
And what do you plan on doing after graduation?
Well, I just currently signed with a professional team here in San Antonio. San Antonio Gunslingers, a football team. So as of right now, I'm practicing and stuff like that. I'm playing football, but you got to have a backup plan. So still haven't really chosen my backup plan. I'm just playing football right now and might coach, work at a school or something. I got a couple job offers as well. But,
You gonna finish your education?
oh, absolutely. I have 1 more semester to get my bachelor's. I might also get my master's too. It's all things that I have to put into place as time goes on.
Nate, I got it. What's your recommendation, please?
Judge, I recommend continuing him, giving him a chance to pay his fines and complete the classes. From the conversations I've had with Patrick, obviously we talked last week. I tried to get him to confirm this miscommunication with the officer in Clayburgh County, but we couldn't do that. But I'm willing to give this gentleman 1 more shot and 0 tolerance.
Mr. Seminat, when do you plan on moving to San Antonio? How soon is that going to occur?
As soon as possible. I'm just, like I say, I got 1 more semester. So, but I commute back and forth. Like I said, I practice with the team and stuff now. So I'm here if I need to be.
Okay. You gonna plan on carrying anything more deadly than a football in the future?
Not at all. No, sir.
All right. Mr. Seminat, the court accepts your plea of true to all conditions. I'm sorry, condition 14 on the motion to revoke probation. I'm going to grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I'll adjudicate you guilty of the offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon. I'm going to sentence you to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, probated for.
Judge, he's already on regular probation. You've already adjudicated him guilty once.
Okay, so he's already. I deny the state's motion to revoke your probation, or you continued on probation with all prior requirements with no sanction at this time, although I have the authority to put you in jail for 30 days to get your attention. Will that be necessary, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, good answer. I'm going to alter and amend the conditions of his probation. Has he already been ordered to take catnip or an equivalent outpatient drug course?
He has, Judge.
Yes,
But he has not done that yet, correct?
No, Judge.
correct.
Okay, I want him registered either in San Antonio for catnip, which I think they're doing online. It may or may not be current. Susan may know more about it than I do, but I think a lot of that stuff he can do online wherever he is, Clayburgh County or Bexar County. But I want him to do outpatient drug. I want him registered for one within 10 days. He may not start within 10 days, but he'll be registered and knows what he's doing. The weekly UAs on him down in Clayburgh County, Susan?
He should be able to do that, Your Honor.
Once he shows me 4 clean weekly UAs, I'll take him off of that. Mr. Lamas, I won't remember doing this. You'll have to call me and say, Jordan did 4 clean UAs. Take him off. Okay. So we'll put him back on monthly at that point in time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bigger problem than we had before. I'm ordering you to stay in school and continue with a grade point average. I don't know if I have authority to do that, but that sounds like something good that you need to be doing.
Judge, this case is expired. It expired in May, so you're going to need to do an extension.
Let's extend him 6 months. Time to do something, but we can extend him again if that becomes necessary, but I'll bet it won't become necessary. All right, what did I miss, Sue? What else do we need to do? You'll finish paying his money, of course. If we have any more alcohol or drug problems, we'll take those up as they come, but I don't think they're coming. And we continue, he's still at Clayburgh County, so we've transferred the probation down there, or do they transfer it back here when he stopped reporting or whatever?
That I'm not sure. I'll have to check with his officer, but I'm sure that we can send him back over there.
Do I have to talk to your attorney, Mr. Sim? Go ahead, sir.
I was gonna ask. It will be fine if I transfer my probation or anything like that here to San Antonio.
All right. So you're able to come at least once a month here for a probation meeting, and maybe
Absolutely.
I don't know what y'all are doing. Susan, is that going to be an online thing?
You need to grant him permission to live in Clayburgh and report in Bexar County. And then his officer will be in touch with him, and because of COVID, it will still most likely be online.
And he'll be contacted by his probation officer within 48 hours of now, plus or minus. Is that what we assume is going to happen?
Mr. Seminat, you should receive amended conditions to sign from your probation officer within the next 24 hours. If you do not, you need to contact Ms. Calvillo and see about signing those documents. But she'll have them later this afternoon. She'll probably email them to you for an electronic signature. And then she'll go over again all the changes with you. But your probation is going to be extended. Judge, it's going to need to be longer than 6 months because that would only carry him through to the 22nd of next month.
We'll make it a year then instead of 6 month extension, with the understanding once he gets everything done, it's not going to be early termination. He's already acquired enough time on probation. We can terminate him anytime he gets everything done. It's not my intention to keep him out there and on a string and watching him. I just want him to get through the outpatient drug course and do the other things that we're doing. Fair enough, Mr. Lamas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. He needs, I would have him call the Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, CATS, in San Antonio, and see if they're still doing the online outpatient drug. We call it CATS-NIP, New Intervention Program. And he could do that online from Clayburgh County, and that wouldn't be a problem for him. It wouldn't make him come into town any more than he would have to. And probably he doesn't have to come into town even for individual reporting, but that's up to the probation department. All right, you got any questions, Mr. Seminat?
No, sir.
Thank your attorney and the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. For some reason, they see some kind of potential in you. I don't know where it came from, but that's what they're seeing. Best of luck. We're going to look forward to watching you play when you get up here, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Lamas.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Jordan, one thing, you have a pencil? I'll give you the phone number to CATS. 681-8655, area code
210.
210-681-8655.
CATS, okay.
And in the class that you need is called CATS-NIP.
Okay.
And if you don't hear anything from Ms. Calvillo in 24 hours, you need to call her. It's your responsibility, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Okay, Ms. Benavides, are we ready on Villarreal? Alma, can you hear me? Your microphone is off.
There we go. Okay, sorry.
All right, thank you. This is cause number 528304, State of Texas versus Iris Villarreal. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Representing the state once again is Mr. Nick Maru. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who our mind is still under oath. And representing the defendant is Ms. Alma Benavides. The first document I want Ms. Benavides and Ms. Villarreal to evaluate is a document entitled Defendant's Consent to MTR Hearing by Video Conference, which was purportedly signed by both Ms. Villarreal and Ms. Benavides. Ms. Villarreal, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Benavides, attorney for Ms. Villarreal, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Pat, on my copy of this document, there is no date listed. It should be October 19, 2020. So if we could correct that, that will take care of that document. The next document I bring to your attention is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. With paragraph marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. This document also is purportedly signed by both Ms. Villarreal and Ms. Benavides. Ms. Villarreal, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Benavides, do you agree with me that that is the correct paragraph to have marked is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication and the defendant has a limited right of appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, you agree?
Yes, Judge.
Your Honor, if I may.
Sure.
Ms. Villarreal was actually revoked on April 4th, 2017. She was given until April 24th to come and be sentenced and she did not show. So basically, we're just the sentencing.
Okay, that got garbled to a degree. Are we talking Villarreal?
Yes.
Okay, and
Ms. Villarreal,
I don't have that information in front of me. What date was she actually?
Your Honor,
her MTR hearing, and she was revoked, or she was, I assume she pled true to all, was April 4th, 2017. You reset her for sentencing on April 24th, 2017, and she failed to appear on April 24th.
You know why I gave her time? Was I expecting her to finish some of her requirements or something, or?
Your Honor, it does not say anything on the file, which I have before me right now. It just said sentencing.
Was Miss Benavides her attorney of record back then?
no, Your Honor.
No, Judge. Kirk Sherman was her attorney of record.
Okay. Ms. Villarreal, let me ask you, do you recall why I didn't just sentence you on that date? Why I gave you a month or so to do something?
I don't recall. It's been such a long time already.
I do agree with you on that. All right. So basically, she doesn't have to enter a plea. She's already entered a plea of true. Would that be correct, Pat?
Yes, Your Honor, according to your notes on the file.
Okay. Ms. Benavides, you agree?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Villarreal, do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Judge, if I may, I'm reading my notes from back on that date, or actually it was Ron's notes. And he states defendant was in court today with attorney, and the defendant had pled true to all the allegation, and the motion had been heard, and the defendant was to return on 4/24/17. The defendant was to make substantial progress by then, and that the court wanted the defendant to attend and complete all the classes, community service hours, and pay all the monies.
Okay. How nice of me, and how very unusual. Wouldn't you agree, Ms. Benavides?
Yes, I would have to agree.
All right. Susan, have you clarified for us the specifics of her probation?
Not yet, Your Honor. But during the course of her probation, she had missed a total of 1 month of reporting, which was in February of 2017. She made no effort to pay, has a balance of 817. No effort to complete any of her 24 hours of community service. She failed to submit to drug testing on 1 occasion, and we have no proof of enrollment or completion of the theft class. Therefore, probation still stands by the original recommendation of revocation.
Benavides, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, after conferring with my client, she tells me that on April the 24th, 2017, she called her then attorney, Kirk Sherman, to let him know that she was going into labor, and in fact gave birth on that day, and she was not able to attend court. She then left 2 weeks later and moved back to Harlingen to try to get some stability in her life. She is a single parent with 4 young children, ages 10, 8, 7, and 3. She is not receiving any child support. She works as a cashier at Dollar General, earning $8.50 an hour. And she made some bad choices, but she told me that there was a period of time during her probation where she was homeless. And so that was another reason why she felt that she needed to move back to Harlingen. She admits she has not had, she's had a financial hardship, and so she has not paid her fine and her fees. She admits that she did not take her class or do her community service. She has served 7 days in the Bexar County Jail. She tells me that she also served 4 additional days in Olmitos, Texas, which is in Cameron County, but I have no verification of that. So I'm asking the court to consider her situation and see if the court would consider revoking her probation and giving her time served. Or in the alternative, if the court would roll her over to regular probation, transfer the case to Cameron County, and we would have to do at least a 12-month probation in order to.
Ms. Grubbs, I neglected to ask you, are there any priors on this?
Judge, she has no criminal history that we're aware of, at least not here in Bexar County.
Any recommendation, please?
Judge, after conferring with Ms. Benavidez, the state does not object if the court sees fit to terminating her on sentencing to a judgment satisfied, or in lieu of that, placing her on regular probation down in Harlingen.
I apologize. You said she had 7 days credit in Bexar County and 4 days credit in jail somewhere else. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, a little town called Olmitos, Olmitos, Texas.
Is that where she was picked up on this MTR warrant, or what?
Yes, and apparently she served 4 days down there.
A bank or do anything else colorful to get those 4 days, right?
I'm sorry?
You didn't rob a bank or do anything else colorful to get those 4 days in jail.
No, Your Honor.
That was Look me up right now. You have 4 children, correct?
Yes, sir.
How old are they?
I have a 10-year-old, a 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
And how are you able to support all these kids?
It's pretty difficult. I have a full-time job at Dollar General, but right now we are making ends meet.
All right. Ms. Uriel, the court accepts your plea of true rendered on April 4th, 2017. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of theft, $100 to $750. I sentence you to 21 days in the Bexar County Jail, a $1,000 fine plus court cost, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state or the defense of Ms. Villarreal?
Nothing further from defense, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
Thank your attorney in the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office, or you'd be going to jail for 6 months. Best of luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Okay, y'all are excused down.